Hey there, friends. I'm heading back up to the mountains today. It's mid-November and we're still working on Hurricane Helene relief. You can donate to the Meet My Neighbor Productions Hurricane Helene Relief Fund. That money is going to be going to individuals within the agricultural community. That could be small farmers or other people who provide services to small farmers. The purpose of the fund is to basically provide some additional resources to those who aren't going to be receiving enough to keep their businesses going. We want to make sure that we keep these people healthy and they have access to fresh food in the future. Anyway, this morning I am on my way to Asheville to meet up with Jonathan Jones. Jonathan Jones is running a program called Homes for Hope. And I've got some mattresses on the trailer behind me. Also got some boxes of winter clothes. It's supposed to snow up here this weekend. So it'll be exciting to see, what he's got going on. And then I'm going to be heading over to meet up with a couple other people before I make my trek back home. So it should be an interesting day. Kind of just moving some supplies, chat with a couple people, and hopefully gain some attention for some of the things that have been going on in North Carolina, and remind people that this is not something that ended a month ago or half a month ago. This is something that is an ongoing effort and will be ongoing for quite some time. And I think at this point the big challenge is going to be rebuilding and keeping people in business and making sure that these folks in North Carolina are not forgotten.
Hey guys, my name's Jonathan. I live here locally in Asheville. I'm also a local pastor for a church here. Basically, we've right away when the storm hit, Hurricane Helene hit, we just kind of sprung into action like a lot of the neighbors did here to see where we could help the most. And one of the areas that we really focused on, that I focused on, was Swannanoa. That was an area that really got devastated, that just really got hit hard. We focused on that area because my wife's a principal of the local elementary school there in Swannanoa. So I was fortunate enough to come alongside her and kind of act as a site director at that school and really start resourcing and connecting with different agencies and different local people helping in that Swannanoa community. So we were able to really get in there and roll up our sleeves and help in a lot of different ways initially. Now we're fortunate enough that the school was fortunate enough to start back to school here in the last week or two. So I kind of transitioned out of that role, and I started thinking about, okay, well, what's the next phase? How can I now help the community based on where we are? Because now we're at a point where the distribution centers, the water, the immediate needs, that's kind of taken care of now. But really what's happening now is there are still a lot of families that have just lost everything. They've lost homes, and they still want to stay in their community, or they may be stuck in their community with really no good alternatives. So that's kind of the area that we started focusing on. I said, okay, how can we help these people find shelter? When you don't have shelter, you're in constant crisis. Until you have safe shelter, you really can't work on all your other problems. So we really started focusing on how we could help some of these families in need find shelter, find temporary homes. So that's what we did. I was able to get connected to another person local that lived in Marshall. She actually knew a shed owner, guy there that has a shed business, and they had actually, they were able to help a family that had lost everything and take one of those sheds and kind of convert it into a temporary home. And they started talking, and we started talking. It's like, man, we have the sheds, but we don't really have the families. I was like, well, through my kind of connections with the school, I've got a lot of families that are hurting and in need. So we kind of partnered together. We kind of labeled our efforts Homes for Hope. And so over these last kind of 6 weeks, we've been able to help 12 families. We've been able to convert 12 sheds into temporary homes. And what I mean by that is we were able to insulate those, put up sheetrock, build lofts for beds. We've got some mattresses here that have come up that we're going to put those mattresses in for them. We were able to put power in a lot of these sheds. And really just create a safe, tiny home for families, because some of these families may be in these sheds for a year or even more. So that's been exciting, just all the local efforts and people donating to that cause. We were able to say, here's what we need, and had so much generosity come in to really help us finish those sheds and convert them into homes. And so now we're kind of at that next phase to say, okay, well, what's next? There's a lot of great organizations helping in that way now, with whether it's Cabins for Christ or churches lining up 30 RVs in their parking lot. So we decided to go a little deeper and maybe to focus just on some families we could help maybe get a permanent home. And so we found a family of 6 that live here in the area in Barnardsville. They've lost everything. They have 4 kids. And so we said, okay, what would it take to convert a larger shed where we could actually put a kitchen and bathroom and really turn it into a home that they could live in for quite some time. So that's what we're doing next. We're trying to raise funds to help meet that goal, to where now we can help this family get a permanent home. This is going to be our first trial run with that, and we'll see how that goes, and it may expand into helping even more families get into permanent homes that really need that help. It's turning wintertime now, it's getting cold, families need to get in safe shelter, and so we want to just focus our efforts on what we can do. We're just locals here trying to help our neighbors, and so we appreciate all the outside generosity, and sometimes the best way that you can help when you're an outsider, that just your heart's been broken over what's happened here, is to come alongside and just partner with locals or organizations that are meeting that whatever that best need is right now. So that's what we're trying to do. If you would like to help that cause, we'd love to be able to partner with you to help some of these families get in homes here on out.
Don't let go.
So I'm Stephanie Lano. I'm actually a resident of East Asheville near Swannanoa, and I also have a home here in Black Mountain that we use as a vacation rental. And it was actually our first home when we moved to this area. We brought our daughter home from the hospital in this house. My family lives here. I live next door to my mom. So we've been members of this community for a very long time, and it's near and dear to our heart. Hurricane Helene has affected this area, as most people know, tremendously. The area of Black Mountain, Swannanoa, and of course other areas in western North Carolina. It's affected people in all kinds of different ways, from losing their home to not even losing their home, but all of a sudden a business that was thriving is no longer thriving because people can't come here right now. Restaurants in Black Mountain, in Asheville, in other areas that didn't have flood damage are tremendously affected. They've all had to close down, and I know people are nervous about coming back to the area. They want to do the right thing, but we're just got announced that we have drinking water again. So there's lots of businesses that are going to be up and running and desperate for support. Asheville, Black Mountain, the surrounding areas survive on tourism. I think a good thing to do is, try to check with the news stations or the counties, buncombecounty.org, to find out if tourists are welcome back. It's my understanding that we are welcoming back tourists. Obviously, we don't want people, just coming to check out all the devastation, but we do need people supporting our restaurants, supporting our local businesses, and coming back and just supporting our mountain towns and pouring into it. We have so many volunteer efforts in the area, but as we all know, as time moves on, those things start to diminish and dwindle. So if you're able to support the area financially, coming to help on the ground with cleanup efforts, things like that, I'm sure as winter comes along, there will be more need for donations. I know we were pretty stocked up on donations, but as we understand, those things are going to start to dwindle as people start to forget about us. So please don't forget about us here in Western North Carolina, and any support is appreciated, whether that be coming to visit, support our local businesses, our restaurants, or coming to help with the relief effort. It's all appreciated.
So what was it like in Swannanoa when the storm hit?
So where we live, so we're right in East Asheville, right on the border of Swannanoa. We're up on a mountain. And then our road is next to a creek called Bull Creek, which is typically a very small little brook creek, and it became a raging river. It flooded our road. It washed out many of the bridges on our road. We weren't affected by the flooding other than we couldn't go out onto our road, but because of being up so high in the mountains, which everybody's seeing a lot of this, we had about 35 trees down. We had one fall through our deck. My mother had one on her deck. Luckily, none hit our house. But some of these trees were 200-year-old trees, massive trees that fell down. And we needed quite a bit of volunteer work just to help us, take care of those dangerous trees. And any of the areas surrounding here, if you were on a mountain, either it was mudslides or trees falling on homes, or if you were by the river, then you were affected by the flooding. So it, Helene had an effect on almost everybody in this area in some shape or another.
What was so after the storm, how did the community change?
I think, for the few short days and weeks after the storm, there was this whole lack of communication. We didn't have internet, we didn't have cell service. I mean, just with my family personally, it took us 3 days just to cut our way out of our driveway. And then everything started kind of to set in, the devastation that once we got out and could see everything. Immediate changes were people were displaced from their homes. People were stuck in their homes. I have friends that were literally, their neighborhood was an island with water around it and bridges washed out. They were stuck there for 11 days. They had to pull together just to be able to survive, as far as, who could share water, who could share food. Schools were closed down. I know Burnsville, their schools just started up. Buncombe County, we started about a week ago, but I think it's affected all of our communities, and that was pretty noticeable right after, and continues to be, a huge effect on these mountain communities.
And how have the people pulled together?
Oh gosh, the people have pulled together in amazing ways. I could tear up just talking about it. I've done a lot of volunteer work myself, and I've been involved with Baptists on Mission, doing projects, mucking out houses and helping with distribution sites. And the community has poured in so much. I know that we have government, as much as they can are helping us, but a lot of this is being volunteer driven. Like my friend Joe that came and actually helped us at our property, brought his excavator here and help people fix their driveways, help people with trees. So the volunteer effort between serving meals at churches, providing showers, doing search and rescue, doing repairs, it's just been unbelievable to see the effort in our community.
A lot of good things have come out of the people.
I think a lot of good things have come out of the people. I think we've all kind of looked at it as, you know, I don't know, my pastor described it as maybe we needed a reset. So I think, it has brought the good out in people just to want to help our community rebuild. This is such a wonderful place to live. We have such wonderful people here, and we all want to chip in and help our neighbors and just build our community back.
All right, guys, so I just left Black Mountain. Now I'm heading back home. I've got some work to take care of. Next week I'll be back up in the mountains with some scout troop to do a little bit of cleanup work. But, you know, I just wanted to say that what they're doing with those small houses, it may seem small to you, but it is such a huge deal. As I drive through these towns and I see people living in tents, they literally, they have nothing. It seems unfathomable to a lot of people. Some people have been there. Some people know what it's like, but a lot of people just don't get it. But these little houses that they're building people to live in, it's just a huge deal. It's such a helpful move. And I was talking to Jonathan. You know, I asked him about permits, because it seems like a lot of the holdups that people are running into with rebuilding that have resources is permits. The nice thing about these shed houses is that they can be moved. You know, so, you know, right now it's better than living in a tent, better than living in a camper. They have a hard surface around them. I mean, campers are nice too, actually. I mean, there are a lot of people donating campers, moving into campers, but these aren't permanent structures. They can be moved when it gets to the point in time where somebody might have a problem with it, county official or whatever. It's not there forever. So it's a very clever idea. It's a very fast idea. I love the ingenuity that I'm seeing out here, and I really appreciate everybody that I have met since we've been doing some of our own volunteering, trying to help just deliver things. Everybody is just so caring and so willing to help each other out, and that's what, you know, it's just an amazing thing to experience, and I can't put it into words. I feel like you'd have to come out here and volunteer and meet these people to really understand. Anyway, guys, I hope you have a good weekend.
Do you find it hard to believe in anything at all? Do you think it's out of reach to lose yourself completely and hang on to that feeling? Don't let go.